Hey everybody, welcome back inside another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is February 11th, 2019, and decent show. I know. I always grade these before I do them. Isn't that pretentious? We have some kid announcements from from Japan, excuse me. Apparently I should have coughed before I turned the camera on. And then we have, of course, the kit releases from this week. Before I start, I wanted to correct one thing from the last week's video. When we were talking about all of the BMAX kits. The Tamiya rather, BMW 320i was indeed a 124 scale kit, not a 120th scale kit. I'm not sure where my mind was on that, but it's from 1977. It is actually kit 24002, which, if you know the Tamiya numbering system, you know that it's the second 124 scale kit they ever produced. It is basically an unassembled motorized toy. It's been released, obviously, since then. It's got the Jägermeister livery to it. Somebody built one on a forum that I'm on Facebook, or a Facebook group, I guess I should say, and that reminded me. I'm like, I'm guessing somewhere in my mind the wires got crossed, and I was thinking of the 110 scale RC version of it, and somehow that turned into 120th scale. I'm not sure how, but be that as it may, that kit is out of production. It's not terribly hard to find, but it's one of those why would you want to find it kind of things. I'm expecting, even for an easy kit, the BMAX 2019 tooling to be somewhat more robust and better detailed than a 1977 tooling. So we'll see where that goes when it gets there. But I wanted to correct that up front before I forgot about it and before somebody else watched the video and was like, hey, wait a minute. No, you're wrong. I was wrong. Now I've corrected myself. So let's talk about the kit releases we got going on here. One thing I want to add to March, and that is the official Japanese release of the Ford GT from Tamiya. Again, if you live in the United States and you wanted one bad enough, you probably have secured yourself one by now because the distribution of them in the United States started 2.5 weeks ago. If you were waiting for the Japan release because you didn't want to pay 45 some odd dollars for the kit, the price on them seems to be around $27, $28 in Japan. So even with shipping added to that, you're going to be coming in probably $5 to $7 less than the U.S. kit. Possibly substantially less, depending on how many kits you order at once, and if you're shipping via EMS in bulk, or if you're doing one kit via the slow-ass logistics version of the shipping. So all that's sort of up to you on that. If you're gonna, if you're waiting for that way. But again, March for the official Japanese release of that kit. So that should probably put it, out the month before the Toyota Le Mans car. Over in April, we've added a few more things to the Fujimi list for April, and they are straight reissues of some kits, some a little easier to find than others recently, but they are the Nissan Fairlady SR311. That is the little two-door roadster that looks very much like a Honda S800, or at least the same size as a Honda S800. Reissue of the Nissan Fairlady Devil Z. That is a Wang and Midnight Cobra. Well, we're just going to sit there and wonder what I was trying to say. Co-branded kit. Reissue of the new Sil 80, which is, of course, for people who don't understand, that is the merging of a Silvia and a Nissan 180SX. In the case of the new Sil 80, that is an S13 front end molded onto or mated onto a 180SX. So it has the chassis basically and everything interior wise out of the 180SX kit with the front end of a S13 molded to it. It is integrated as one piece body. It's not any kind of crazy resin thing. They made a couple of Sil 80s. One is an older style, one is the newer style, and it's kind of a cool little piece. I mean, it's something that really Nissan didn't make one in reality. This was something that was done by automotive fans, if you will, in Japan to their cars, and became a popular conversion here in the United States as well, assuming you could get the front end of a Nissan Silvia shipped to you. And then the last thing in April for Fujimi is a reissue of their Ferrari F40, which is probably best left in Japan where it belongs, because the Tamiya kit, even as old as it is, is still a much better version of a Ferrari F40 than the Fujimi one ever could hope to be. In May, from Fujimi, you have the reissue of the Audi Quattro 20 valve. That was reissued not too terribly long ago, probably maybe a year and a half ago now. But that was the first time it had been run in quite a while when it got reissued. So if you happen to miss the reissue, it's coming back. Reissue of the Porsche 911 flat nose. That is the real sports car version, meaning it's the curbside, not the Enthusiast Series kit. And then a reissue of their Porsche 917K for the 1970 Le Mans winning vehicle. That's going to come with window masks for the first time, which there isn't a whole heck of a lot of windows on that kit, the mask in the first place, but be that as it may, that is what that is. Then we have the Hasegawa announcements for April. And they are going to reissue their Subaru Impreza WRX. That is the mid to late 90s four-door civilian version. Now, there's a rally version of that, but this is the civilian version. They're going to reissue their Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4 in the 1997 Safari Rally livery. They're going to reissue their Toyota Corolla WRC kit with a 2000 Monte Carlo Rally livery. The car finished 5th in that case. They're going to reissue their Lancia 037 rally car, this time with the Jolly Club livery, and that's going to be buildable either as the 1984 Tour de Corse or the 1985 Portugal rallies. They're going to reissue their 1/24 scale cabin Reynard 89D Formula 3000 car. This looks like it's coming with actual cabin tobacco livery this time. They're going to reissue their Toyota Celica 1600 GT race car tribute. I always call it because it's not really a full race car. Hasegawa made 3 Celica 1600 GT kits. One's a street kit. Well, actually, there's 2 because one came with a different set of wheels. But there's the street kit. There is a sort of racing tribute kit where it has over fenders and like half of a roll cage, but still a civilian interior, street wheels and all that stuff. And then there's a full-on race version that they made. This appears to be that middle one where it's a tribute to a race car, and that is going to be in the Zeshaka series, which you may recall is what comes with a little cardboard background, a little piece of acrylic that you apply a sticker to, and it turns into like an instant diorama of the schoolgirl anime manga series that they've been doing. They've done 2 kits from it already, the Cosmos and the 2000 GT, and now you're getting another one with this Toyota Celica. They're going to reissue their Reizo Trampio Group N Honda Civic. Now, for people who don't understand, within Japan, there is a Group N to this day racing series, which Group N was like the really, really, really factory stock race car version of Group A at the time. There was very little done to the cars in terms of turning them into race cars other than basically gutting them. Tamiya made a couple of Group N Nissan Skyline R32 GTRs. Of the 4 GTRs they made out of the R32 in a race car series, you had 2 done as JTCC cars. You had 2 done as, or I should say 1 done as a Group N car. 1 was done as a SPA car, but I think that technically was a Group N regulation on that. And then you had the Macau championship car. I guess there's 5 of them, not 4, my bad. But they actually did a Group N car to that. Group N would continue on, and it still does, in a series that the name escapes me right now, and I don't want to butcher it, but it's Super Takayashu, I believe is what it's called. But it still exists as a endurance series for Group N. Be all that as it may, there was a difference nominally with engine components and things like that between these 2 series. This is a reissue of the 3-door Honda Civic, the hatchback, called a 3-door, and there is a JTCC version, and there was a Group N version. They did, I want to say 3 kits on the Group N. This one, one called Nori P House, which is the one, if you ever see, it's a white car with polka dots all over it, and then there's the Take 2, which is a gray car with black doors and a black hood. The significance of this reissue to anybody who cares, which would be me and probably like 2 other people, This kit comes with a set of Enki Racing Wheel rims. They belong specifically to this Group N series version of this Honda. Why that is significant is the fact that Frankie over SK, back when the Hasegawa was doing all the reissue of the JTCC cars, did reissues of all of those Group N liveries. The Rezos, actually for 2 different years, because the kit only gives you one version, not both. So it has both the, I would say 91 and 92, I believe it is, or might be 92, 93. I don't have them in front of me, obviously. But there's 2 different years, 2 different decal sheets. And then there's the Nori P and the Take 2. But you couldn't really make accurate builds of them because while the kit itself was back out and easily accessible, it didn't come with the right rims. It comes with the set that the JTCC cars were using. Zoom on Resins made those wheels for like a half a minute at one point in time a couple of years ago, but they've never restocked them for whatever. So having this kit come back out is fantastic. First of all, the price on these Group N cars are still through the roof because they hadn't been reissued yet. You go looking online for the Rezos or the Nori House or the Take 2, and you're going to look at a Honda Civic kit that's going to, in this reissue, cost $22. Cost about $15 when it was new, and it's going to run like $70. Even in Japan, they go for a ridiculous amount of money. I picked up a Nori P House for people who like watched all of the In the Box things. You may recall from like a year and a half ago, because I had the decals for it, and I just wanted a set of those things for the rims. I was thinking about having them resin cast myself through somebody in the United States, and then I never got around to doing that because life. And so now to have this finally, probably, what, a year and a half, 2 years after those 3-door Civics were finally run, all the JTCC cars, we're finally getting one of the Group N cars. So this has the rims that I need for like 4 sets of decals. So yeah, I'm falling on that from a great height. And then lastly, from Hasegawa for the month of April, is a modified reissue of their Mitsubishi Galant. The little 2-door. You may recall it came out as like a Galant GTO, and then it came out as a Galant 2000 GSR. This is going to be a 1976 Mitsubishi Galant GTO 2000 GSR. This is the last of the model year as far as that body style went. This kit's going to have a new front grille headlight piece, a new front fascia piece like below the bumper with like sort of an air dam to it, new front bumper, new rear bumper, new steering wheel, and then end caps for the bumpers. In 1976, they sort of went to the what do we call them? I was call them polyglass, but that's a tire. Sort of the fiberglass. What did GM call it? It was like Extendo or something like that. That foam material that they made the front end of Trans Ams and stuff like that out of. I know there's a specific name for it, which is bouncing around in there, but it won't form correctly. But it has those style bumper extensions on the front and the back bumper, so those are included as new pieces. It's basically 4 sprues of new parts. It's like, what, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 new pieces basically, because there's new chrome pieces for the front bumper and the back bumper, and then the end caps to the bumpers, which are obviously two per end of the car, the steering wheel, and the new front end pieces. So it's another piece of amortization to that tooling. At that point, I think we're done with that kit, unless they're going to do something race car with it. I'm not sure there actually is a race car to that necessarily off the top of my head, but I think with those 3 cars, we pretty much span the lifespan of that model Galant. So we shall see where that goes. I don't think it's going to go anywhere else. I think much like the Jimny, that one has run its course. We need to get the Toyota Starlet out so that they have a new tool to base several releases on. Plus, I still want my Toyota Starlet JTCC car. I still want my Gemini JTCC car. Hasegawa, if you're watching, make my JTCC cars. We have one announcement from the United States, and that's from Salvino JR. It's the Buddy Baker 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. This has the Circus Hotel and Casino livery. They're saying that's going to ship in March, so we shall see. That, guys, will take us to the actual kit releases for this week, and we have a couple of things here domestically and then a few things from overseas. On the U.S. side of things, first up from round 2, we have this, the last of the January kits. It is the reissue of the 1969 Plymouth GTX convertible cabriolet. There's an argument about whether or not cabriolet is technically the correct term for this in French, because obviously it's meant to be in 2 languages in that sense, because obviously you have the model scale model kit and the kit de modula, escala, and all that sort of thing. Cabriolet, when you literally translate it into French, does mean convertible. There's some people that argue with themselves. I wasn't involved. I was just watching about whether or not cabriolet actually means convertible in French and whatnot. But whatever. This is a straight reissue of the '69 convertible. There's nothing new added to this, except I believe there's pad printed tires included in this for the first time. Because I think the last time this was reissued was in the Racing Champions Day with like a, I'm not sure what was on the box. I want to say white car, but the original kit was a white car. Let's just glance here, see if there's going to be pad printed red lines added to this. That's what it was. I knew the pad printed tires, they are red lines. So that kit is back out for the Mopar fans. If you happen to want one, it has been a while since this has been reissued. Like I said, it was Racing Champions days, so I mean that ended in 2007. So it's been at least 11 years since this kit's been released, and it's probably longer than that. So that wraps up round 2 from January. I'm hearing from my local hobby guy that the February kits, the 2 that are coming in this month, the 69 Chevelle and the 59 Imperial, should be in this week. So if they get in, we'll talk about them. The other release domestically is from Salvino's JR, and it is the release of their new tool Monte Carlo NASCAR kit. So this is going to be Donnie Allison's final victory car, the Hawaiian Tropic livery sponsored car. From what I understand, the decals in it are pretty much the same decals that are in the Oldsmobile Hawaiian Tropic, because there really isn't that much difference between the 2 liveries. Just various little pieces and parts that are specific to the Monte Carlo. Otherwise, the overall livery is more or less the same. Which is like not a knock against Salvino's at all, because if you go to like Power Slide and buy the Hawaiian Tropic livery, it also serves both the Oldsmobile and the Monte Carlo, so it just makes sense. What I am seeing with this kit, you know, do we want to just keep giving them the benefit of the doubt and just say they'll get better someday? Because the front nose piece, which is the thing that separates and makes these 2 things different in terms of being an earlier 74-ish front end and a later dual headlight stack one. Now, people argue that this is not a 78 Monte Carlo, and you're right, it's not. It's like a 75 Monte Carlo, or maybe actually as a 74. There was a thing in NASCAR at the time where you could have a 4-year window where you could run any body style. So this was technically a legal car to run in 1978, which is obviously why they did that. From what I've seen of the front tulip panel, for lack of a better term, the front end piece that makes it a single headlight, doesn't fit real well. It certainly is a wildly disappointing amount of bad fit for 2019 tooled kit. You know, it turns into one of those things of like, is it just that guy's kit that I've seen that it doesn't fit? Maybe one piece is warped and the other one's not. You know, it's really hard to judge an entire production run of something based on what you've seen out of one kit. But be aware, if you're interested in this, your tulip panel may or may not fit. The hood is really, really thick. It's like resin hood thick. I don't understand why it's so thick. Beyond that, the guy who reviewed it really pretty much didn't even build it. He got about like a third of the way into it, was so disgusted with the way it fit and everything that he just decided he wasn't going to build it. So I don't believe you can say too much more about it than that. If the guy who wants to review it for a forum decides that it was too bad to actually even try to build, was it really that bad? Or is it just one of those things where we've all gone through it? We're really, really excited about a kit. It comes. It doesn't quite have the feel to it that we wanted it to have. And so we get like disgusted, rightfully so or not. And then we just lose all interest. And that sounds like part of what happened there. The one thing I will say, if we're going to talk about Salvino's JR for half a second here, they have done the tooling for the parts that fix the Oldsmobile. There's actually two sets of parts that fix the Oldsmobile. You have the chassis parts that fix the Oldsmobile, get rid of that goofy ass wrong front and wrong rear suspension that it has, and replace it with the truck arms that it's supposed to. And then you have a chrome runner, which fixes the front bumper, the back bumper, and the grille. The problem with those two pieces of kit is the fact that they're not in this kit, which they were supposed to be. When they originally said, hey, we're going to fix these parts, they said, we're going to include the parts in the Monte Carlo kit to fix the Oldsmobile. So you can just build the Oldsmobile, and then when the parts come in the Monte Carlo, you can just swap out your rear end in the Oldsmobile, and you fix it if it means that much to you. I always like the way Salvinos has a bad habit of talking down to their customers. Matter of fact, if you don't think that's true, they go back to their Facebook page and check out a post they made right at the beginning of the year where they talk about all their fans standing up to the critics. That's very detrimental language when you're talking about people who, for the most part, aren't paid, and the second part are just trying to provide a service to the hobby, right? If your kit stinks so bad that you feel that your critics are being unfair, then it probably does stink that bad. Another thing you will always not see at Salvinos JR is negative comments, because they are deleted. I actually watched this happen in real time. I wish I had screen captured the thing as it was happening. But somebody made a comment about what I just said. These parts aren't included in the kit. What the heck, man? You said they were going to be included. I'm not paying for parts, because, hey guys, there's the kick in the ass to this whole thing. If you wanted to fix the back suspension of the Oldsmobile kits you already own, that's going to cost you $6. You want to fix the grille and the bumpers too? That's another $6. So now we're at $12, and they're going to charge you $2 to ship the shit to yourself. So we're looking at like $15 to fix a $40 model kit. I'm sorry, but that's just not acceptable. Not now, not ever. If you want to buy an entire parts runner for a kit out of Tamiya, it doesn't cost that much for the parts runner and the shipping from Tamiya USA. Hell, a lot of times you call Tamiya USA and you're like, hey, I screwed this up and I need a new whatever this. They'll send you the part for free. They did that with decals for a Ferrari 360 Modena I had. I bought it secondhand. It wasn't even new. And it was an old version that had bad decals. I wrote them an email saying, I need a new decal sheet. Now, granted, the decal sheet Modena is like the size of a matchbook, but because it only has like gauge cluster and a couple other things on it. They said, well, wait a minute, that kit's still in production. We're going to say, I offer to pay. I was like, just let me know if a PayPal, money order, what I have to do to make this happen, to get these decals replaced. They sent them to me for free. I understand that this is a new company with limited, quote-unquote, finances. But you screwed everybody over by rushing a kit out with the wrong parts in it, even after people told you they were the wrong parts in it. Before you cut the one iota of tooling, you knew it was the wrong part. So you could have fixed it, but you didn't. And now, the idea that in order to fix the thing that you screwed up and refused to fix before you released the kit, I had to pay $15 to fix the kit. I'm sorry, it's just flat out outrageous. I don't care if the kit is good, bad, or whatever. That's just not... Dude, the replacement parts cost almost as much as a model kit does. I mean... My local hobby shop sells Revell kits. I know they're expensive if you don't have a hobby shop or you don't go through through Hobby Lobby. But my local hobby shop sells Revell kits for like $22, $23 on the new stuff, like the '69 Chevelle that just came out. It's even cheaper on the older stuff. These fixing parts cost almost as much as a model kit does. That's no. And again, no. I have no idea what business practice these people think they're in, other than just making the people that would lick their boots happy. And I can say that because, guess what? I don't have to worry about them deleting my comment. This reminds me a lot of what Mobius did. When Mobius started getting a lot of negative press in the hobby forums, as it were, in terms of the people who got their kits to review, they basically threatened to pull people's ability to get advanced kits if they didn't take their model reviews down that were not lovingly gracious to Mobius. I'm sorry, but I can't... This is too new, well, this one really new, but Mobius obviously was around making sci-fi stuff beforehand. These are two new automotive U.S. kit manufacturers that both are operating by the same modus operandi, which is basically, and I hate to use the term because it's so overused, like snowflake mentality. Oh my God, you said something offensive. We're going to delete it. I didn't say anything offensive. I said the truth. It's ripoff for you to charge me for parts that I should have been included in the kit to begin with. I'm not buying this now. I just refuse to support the company in general. I'll tell you guys when the kits come out because I'm not going to tell you not to buy something. Me personally, not a penny of my money will go to finance anything that these guys make. I don't care if it is good. I don't care if they make the one thing I've always wanted. I'm not going to support that. That is absolutely 100% bald-faced ridiculous that they are doing things that way. I understand that they can't afford to send out 5,000 sets of those parts. However, Revell probably couldn't really afford to send out 5,000 new, 69 Charger bodies when those Daytonas were chop-proofed. I'm sure that Lindbergh really wasn't in a financial position to send out 5,000 61 Impala bodies when those things got goofed up. I'm sure that Revell really didn't want to send out 5,000 sets of white wall tires after the 1950 Oldsmobile came with non-pre-printed, white wall tires like it did when. Guess what? You effed up. You have to make amends for it. Otherwise, you're going to chase off all your customers. I don't know. It enrages me, obviously. I don't have a penny in any of these things. Like, I have Mobius kits. I bought most of the Mobius kits because down with underneath of all, some of the stuff's more interesting to me than others, but, like, I can see progress with it. It's getting better sometimes. This, at least Mobius, when you were like, hey, this is all screwed up, this part, they sent you replacement parts. Like, if you could prove that stuff was messed up, beyond, like, the weirdness of, like, the Pontiac Ventura's windows, or not Ventura, but the Pontiac, the Ventura's windows, I think, actually do fit now because or what am I thinking of? The Catalina, right? I'm just having a brain fart, and I can't look things up online because I'm not connected to the internet on my laptop here, but I'm trying to remember which one came out first now, because it's just a blur. Let's see here. I think the Catalina is what came out second, right? Because this thing we made fun of the box art being all wonky. Yeah, so the Ventura's front and rear windshields don't really fit. Now, they fixed that in the NASCAR version, and the Catalina's windows allegedly do fit. I haven't actually gone out to look at it, because once you unseal and unpack a Mobius kit, you'll never get it back in the box again. But they fixed that problem, and they didn't charge you for it. Now, they couldn't fix anything to do with the Ventura because that's just a kit design thing. There was no way to supply you with new parts for it. But this is, ugh. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Like I said, I'll still cover the kits because that's what the show is about. But I personally will not sink any money into anything that they do, which is really a shame because, hey, Circus Casino from the 1970s, that seems like a fun livery. No. All right, guys, overseas. Everything here is going to be a Hasegawa kit except for one Fujimi, so we'll tackle the Fujimi kit first. The first up from them out of 3 kits they're going to do this month is the Kyoshi Sudo Mitsubishi Evo 3. This is a initial D tie-in. Basically, this is the same Evo 3 kit that you could buy anytime. I'm pretty sure it's still in production, except it has a different set of wheels and some decals that are specific to the initial D car. So if you're interested in that, that is out. Over at Hasegawa, a couple of reissues. Well, all of this is reissues, but a couple of reissues, and then a couple of newer reissues. First up, you have the Nissan Fairlady 240ZG police car. This was given to the Kanagawa Prefecture Police back in 1972 as just a donation from Nissan to their Highway Patrol Division. So it is a replica of a real police car. It's not just something that they conjured up. The Highway Patrol Division used the car until the early 1980s. It got about I think it was like 11 years of use out of the thing. So quite a sturdy vehicle for what it was used for. It's basically the same ZG Fairlady that you would get from anything else that Hasegawa does in this series, except that it obviously has police blinker lights and things like that. Reissue of this, the Nissan Sunny GB120 Long Body Deluxe early version. Just a restock of this. The kit continues to sell well, even though we're probably 2 years past the release, so that's always good to see. And then on the like new reissues, if you will. You have this. It is the 124 scale Jordan 192 Shakedown version. This is the basically the test practice car livery for the 1992 F1 series car. The car itself didn't do particularly well. A combination probably of the just of being a new car and having some really young drivers involved. I think 15th or something like that is the best this thing placed all year. But that's not really relevant to that because this is a testing version. So what the decals you see on the box are what you get inside. I'm not sure that there was actually any tobacco livery on the car in practice. Probably not. So there's that. And then you have this, which is the Italia Reynard 89D Formula 3000 car. This is the Team Le Mans vehicle here. And this is very cool because this, after we've seen all of these Reynard 89Ds get reissued, is the championship car for the All Japan Formula 3000 series for 1989. It's pink. The kit's molded in white, but it's a pink car. So it's kind of interesting in that in and of itself. But it's very, you know, for all, if you've been collecting these, you're building them, or even if you're not building them, just collecting them because, you know, you'll build them eventually. This is, you know, your top of the heap, as it were, 89D kit, because, like I said, the championship vehicle. And that, guys, is that for this week. So, hopefully, I didn't offend anyone. I don't care. You guys are always going to get my opinion and what I believe to be, you know, legitimately the truth, I guess. I mean, you could argue the truth of an opinion, but, you know, I'm never going to tell you guys, I'm never going to sugarcoat anything here. That's the key thing. If something is being done that isn't cool, then we'll let you know. Because with this new attitude, the new social media attitude of these, you know, companies, they are censoring content that does not cater to their whims. Now, I already hear somebody going, well, why would they allow that to happen? I mean, it's their Facebook page. They do whatever they want to. Why would they have stuff that's detrimental? Well, when you censor the comments so it's always 100% supportive, it's not honest. And that's all there is to it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys on the other side.